Welcome to a new Smart Money video on intentional living. This video is all about being intentional in the way that you live. Why would you want to do this? Well, if you want to live with less regrets, if you want to live more fully in your life, if you want to align yourself with your values and your beliefs, and your life looks like on the inside as it does on the outside, then intentional living is for you. And this video will give some hints and tips and some advice on how to live intentionally. Living intentionally is also a great way to reduce stress. The amount of stress we experience when there is a conflict between our experiences and what we are doing versus what we believe is immense. It's a major reason and cause for stress in our world today. So pay careful attention to the hints and tips that are coming up in this video to live intentionally, to be free and live more free, to enjoy life and to see your values and beliefs manifested through your actions and in your community. Subscribe to this channel for more videos on personal growth, finance, investing, and business. A summary of this video is that we're going to look at what intentional living is. We are going to look at the impact it can have on different areas in your life, as well as how do you go about living intentionally. And we will use two examples from work and relationships to make it practical. So what is intentional living? Intentional living is living according to your values and the values of your community or the group that you most closely associate with. This can be your ethical, political, or religious beliefs. An important part of intentional living is to evaluate and to look and assess and understand, what are my values? What do I believe? What do those around me believe? What is the culture and the community that I'm in believing and valuing? Because often values and beliefs can be unrecognized and not realized, not understood. But when we take a little bit of time and a moment, we can reflect upon ourselves, our family and our community, even our country and the culture, and understand what is taking place. And do you really agree with that? Intentional living is about doing what you want to do. And it is also about not doing what you don't want to do. And so intentional living is all about being purposeful in your life and living every day purposefully, choosing what you do, not drifting, not just being brought along by others, by your company, by your culture of your country, or by what you're supposed to do by tradition. No, it is you making a choice, being free and able to have a purpose and to choose to fulfill that each and every day. So we've looked at what intentional living is. We're now going to look at the impact it can have, as well as how do you go about living intentionally? How can you make this work with some examples in work and in relationships? Please do hit that like button. And so what are the areas of impact for intentional living? Well, it is everything. It is your lifestyle. It is the way that you spend your money. It is the way that you raise your children, the way you communicate with your spouse. Intentional living permeates into everything that you do, into your job, your workplace, your community, your friends, who you choose to be friends with, who you choose not to be friends with, who you seek out as a friend. Intentional living really is built from the ground up. Now it is important we don't become overly intentional in everything and every little detail, because that will no doubt lead to burnout and we will be tired and worn out and stressed. So rather, intentional living needs to be managed through the lens of grace and through mercy towards ourselves. There are going to be days where we get it right and there are going to be days where we get it so badly wrong, but it's okay. The point is to be intentional, and over time these intentions that are getting executed, that are getting done almost like habits every single day, add up to a momentum and a weight towards an outcome that aligns with our beliefs and our values of what we want and who we are. We're now going to look at how we implement intentional living in our lives. Intentional living, we need to step back, we need to evaluate our values, and then we have to create some plans. We have to look at the way our life is organized, the way we are using our time, and make a plan. This might just be for the beginning, but nonetheless we choose certain routines and habits to insert or inject into our lives. These habits and routines, once they're established, will make sure that there is an automatic intentional living take place. You will start to be intentional almost by autopilot. It's also important with intentional living to maintain an attitude of thankfulness and gratefulness. And the reason for this is that when you're intentional, you can move forward past any emotional stress or conflict. And this is the problem. When you start to live intentionally, you will experience negative emotions from time to time. When you fail to achieve what you set out to, when you are really trying to be purposeful in the way that you parent your children or conduct yourself in the workplace, and you fail, that negative feedback against what you're desiring can cause a problem. You overcome that with thankfulness by looking at all that you are doing, by looking that all is present in your life. That thankfulness gives you positive energy, gives you a strength on the inside, and changes your perspective, helps you to see with an eye of light rather than a complaining or dark eye. Now, in relationships, as an example, what would intentional living look like? Well, it looks like me, Brad, deliberately having supper with my family 5 nights out of 7. Even though I am busy and building different activities for various companies and have a demanding work schedule, I purpose to have dinner with my family 5 out of 7 nights. That means that I will sit and be present with them in that meal. I will not be looking at my phone. I will not allow them to look at their phones if I can influence that. And I will ensure that I'm there, I'm communicating, I'm finding out how they are and how I am. I'm being very purposeful about this time. And another example within relationships is being purposeful about common interests. For example, the family, I checked with them and we all decided, let's get bicycles. And so now I'm purposeful about this common interest of riding bicycles. And so as often as we can, we will go for a ride together and spend an hour or 2 riding our bikes together, sharing this common interest, talking, riding fast, riding slow, perhaps it's through the woods. It's quite a time of connection. It's exciting and we enjoy it. After that event is done, we also then have something to talk about. So we can reflect back and say, oh, wasn't it amazing and so fun when we went through that dip? Ways to connect and to remain together as a family. Now within the workplace, it is about looking at the skills that you have and becoming intentional about using them. So the workplace example is really about finding projects that you can excel on, that you can use who you are, what you know, and what you've experienced to bring benefit to the organization. When you start doing this, you're being very purposeful, and that adds a power to what's happening. The company is going to get an amazing result, and you are going to feel a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction that you're doing a great job that only you can do. Another example of being purposeful in the workplace is to ensure that you navigate it in such a way that you align the company's visions, or at least part of it, with your life's purpose. Ensure that if you believe you're a teacher and that you should be teaching and educating and helping, and that's your purpose, and you find yourself working in a business, even if perhaps it was a software company, you find ways to teach, to mentor, and to educate others in the business. Run lunch and learns. Fulfill your purpose, align it, because you're being intentional and purposeful. Now, if you want to crush debt, I created a video on how you can halve the amount of time required in order to pay off and get rid of all the debt in your life. The link should be on the screen and you can just click that. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and share this video with someone, because today and together we can create an abundance.